Happy New Year, Nail Geeks! I am kicking off the 2019 year with Polish Pickups January. The theme is Mythology, and we have some absolute treasures to get to. So, without further ado, let's get to it. First up, we have Baroness X. This is healing magic. It is inspired by Valkyries. Official description is a green to purple magnetic multichrome with pink to green iridescent flakies, blue to orange aurora pigment, and hollow flakies in a navy jelly base. Price on this one is $14, and there is a very small cap of 85 bottles. So be sure to add it to your wish list if you are wanting to pick this one up. Formula on this one feels very, very squishy, very jelly, has a very glossy-like feel during application. On the first coat, it does start out just a touch on the more sheer side. It does build up very easily. I found that I had full opacity at 2 coats. Now I am magnetizing this with a neodymium magnet. I do have a tutorial on how this works. I will link that below if you are curious. But back to the polish. The flakies in this one picked up very easily for me. I did give the bottle a good shake before applying, and I had no problems whatsoever picking them up on the brush. They laid down nice and flat, and they contrast very nicely against that dark, very navy base. The multichrome magnetic pigment comes off mostly in this brilliant aqua that you're seeing here, and on tilt you'll see a vibrant purple come out to play. On extreme angles, I did see a touch of gold light up as well. Now, Baroness X is also releasing a new scent inspired after the Loch Ness Monster this month. There is a cap of 50 bottles for that acetone antidote, and the price is $4.25. It has a florally kind of scent to it, but it's very soft and subtle, just very, very pleasant overall. Next up is Blush Lacquers. This is Birth of Venus, inspired by the Birth of Venus painting by Sandro Botticelli. The official description is a peachy nude base with a teal to blue to purple shifting shimmer, hollow flakes, and hollow pigment. Price is $13, and there is no cap on this one. Now, I do want to point out that my lights are very, very bright. This is a touch more on the peach side in person than what you're seeing here, at least as what I'm seeing on my monitor on the playback here. Depending on your application style and your nail length, I'm going to go out on a whim and say that 2 to 3 coats is going to be perfect depending on how you apply. The hollow in this one is very densely scattered across the nail, and the shimmer is pretty strong against the peachy base. Now, being a warm toned person myself, I do feel like this leaned a little more on the nude side to me. I think depending on your skin tone, this is going to pull a little more peach or a little bit more nude depending. After top coat, everything is nice and smooth. I had no issues whatsoever with this one. Now, it does dry down just a touch on the satin side, so personally, to get that shimmer to really pop, I would recommend a super glossy top coat. Next, we have by Danny Viana. This is Soulmate, and it is inspired by the androgynous myth. Personally, I immediately thought of the movie Hedwig, which is one of my absolute favorites. Story definitely pertains to the androgynous myth of soulmates and lovers and whatnot. Official description is a light gray jelly filled with micro gunmetal flakies, aurora pigment, iridescent, and multichrome flakies. Price is $12, and there is a cap of 125 bottles. So the formula on this one is more attuned to a crelly. I do feel like it does lean just a touch more on the jelly aspect of it. It does apply just a touch sheer on that first coat. I built it to full opacity on my nail at 3 coats. I am going in with slightly thinner coats than normal just to kind of really get those flakes to come out with a pond effect on the final look. I had no issues whatsoever. Per usual, I give the bottle a good shake and then I went to apply. So the flakes picked up easily for me. They lay down flat on the nail and they contrast really nice with a cool toned, almost like a light gunmetal gray for the base color. Overall, the flakes will shift into reds and golds and oranges. It's super pretty, and there is a bit of a sparkle to it as well. In bright lighting, you'll see it. It's very, very scattered on the nail, but overall, it goes with the entire finish very nicely. After top coating, I had no issues whatsoever with any texture. Everything was nice and smooth to the touch. So I would like to say that depending on your application style and your nail length and whatnot, this one's really going to depend also with how many coats you're going to need. Like I said, if you have much shorter nails, I think maybe 2 heavy coats. But personally, I would recommend doing 3 light coats to really build everything up. Next up, we have Cameo Colors lacquers. This is Sisters of the Sky. It is inspired by the Pleiades, and they were the daughters of the Titan Atlas, who was condemned to hold up the celestial heavens for all eternity. Official description is a pinky mauve tinged nude crelly full of blue, indigo, purple shifting shimmer, purple and blue iridescent micro glitters, blue, violet, copper ultrachrome flakies, and copper and hollow micro flakes. So this one is super loaded. There is a cap of 100 bottles on it, and it will be priced at $11. So this is very, very sparkly and just luminescent. On me, it did lean a touch more as almost like a pinky type of nude, with just the slightest bit of like a pink tone to it, and all those pretty little sparkly pigments in it picked up easily for me. I had no issues whatsoever with them. In person, there is a very strong blue, almost purpley type glow to this one, and I think it's just very, very soft and flattering. It kind of reminds me of like a polish that somebody would wear if they were a princess. It's very, very chic, very elegant. After top coating, I had no texture whatsoever, and overall, I think this is a nice, soft, almost like a ballet pink type color. The blue contrasts very nicely with it, and in person, I don't feel like on the full Mani shot it's really giving you an idea of the light but somewhat dense sparkle that you'll see in person. I think for the most part, if you're warm tone, it is going to lean just a touch more on the nude side. Next, we have Crystal Knockout. This is Adam's ex-wife. It is inspired by Lilith. Official description is a nude crelly with a copper glow, green and gold ultrachrome flakies, bronze micro flakies, white flakies, and emerald green micro glitters. Price is at $12, and there is no cap on this one. So to me, for this one, for a nude, I feel like this is one of those nudes that has a bit of like a warm, almost very, very light, almost orangey type undertone, if that makes sense. It's super warm. This is another one that is very loaded with all kinds of flakies and goodies in there. There is a nice sparkle to it, and in person, there's a very warm golden glow overall. This, once again, it's another one, I feel like I'm repeating myself. This is another one that, depending on your application style and your nail length, I'm going to say 2 to 3 coats for this one. Personally, I think 2 coats is probably just perfectly fine. I did see a touch of my smile line on my other nails, so I did go in for that 3rd coat here. So giving the bottle a good shake and then going in for application, I had no issues whatsoever with getting those flakes and the glitters to lay down nice and flat for me. So I had no texture after top coat here. Everything laid down perfectly flat. The formula does feel medium to slightly on the light side. Like I said, I think most are going to be able to build it up either between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how you like to apply polish to your nails. I do recommend, personally, on this one as well, a nice glossy top coat. It'll make those sparkles really pop and that golden inner shimmer to really come out. Next up, we have Demiflux. This is a unicorn horn, and there are 2 options for it. There is a lamp pole and a necklace-like pendant. So the necklace that it comes with is 30 inches long, and you can either wear it as a necklace, or if you decide to do the fan pole thing, you can actually adjust the chain on this one and put it at your desired length. There is a cap of 10 on each, and the price is $13. This thing is a gorgeous violet resin, and it's coated and just loaded with unicorn pea all over it. And it does glow very bright blue in the dark. Next up, we have Leisha's lacquer. This is Turtle Mountain, inspired by the Ojibwe legend of Turtle Mountain, and there's a whole story with it. I do have more info on my blog. I'm going to have extended inspiration posts on my blog post if you are interested. There are some really cool stories to see there. The official description on this one is a navy blue base with a strong green to blue to purple multi-chrome shift, green to bronze flakies, and bright purple flakes. Price is $12 and there is no cap on this one. So the formula on this one is, I'm very hesitant on this one because it felt kind of medium, but it does have a touch of a heavy application to it. I found that I had full opacity at 2 coats. I can't really see many needing to go to 3. Just depends if you like to go on use thin coats on application. The flakes picked up easily for me. They laid down nice and flat, and the multi-chrome pigment on giving it that inner glow just kind of warms up that blue base, and it kind of goes in between like a green and a nice goldish color. Really just overall gives a nice inner glow. The flakes contrast nicely. They're very prominently gold and blue against the backdrop, and after top coating I had no texture whatsoever. Here is Lemming Lacquer. This is Lotus Eaters, inspired by the lotus flowers in Greek mythology and everything else that allows you to luxuriate and forget the cares of the world. Official description is a blue to violet jelly with red shimmer, purple, pink, orange, gold iridescent flakes, and holographic sparks. Price is $13 and there is a cap of 250 bottles on this one. The base color here is very, very rich and vibrant in my opinion. It is a perfect on the fence between a very vibrant purple, but it does have a nice blue undertone to it. So really I would say this is like a rich blurple. Now in person, I think I tried to catch it on my macro shots. There is almost like an aurora shimmer type of appearance here, and it's kind of a little tricky to capture, but in person on extreme angles you will see it come out to play. Mostly in normal standard lighting, that shimmer comes off super red against the base, and then on extreme angles you'll see a green. So it is similar to the unicorn pea, but the pigment is a lot larger, obviously. The flakes and everything picked up super easy for me. The formula on this one has a very squishy, super smooth feel during application. I had no texture after top coating, and overall the red and the flakes really pop against that base color. I personally, even though it does dry down just a touch on the glossy side, I still would recommend like a thicker, quick dry top coat, and it'll really make everything pop and give you those sparkles. So next we have Moonflower Polish Atabe. This is inspired by the Taino mother goddess Atabe, and the price is at $12.50 and there's a cap of 75 bottles. Official description is a teal cream with green to purple to blue aurora shimmers. And this is another dual purpose polish from Nadia, and here I'm showing you guys that it was fully good to go at 2 coats. Now if I had much shorter nails, I feel like I probably could have gone away with the 1 coat, but I did go for 2 just to kind of even everything out. It does dry down somewhat glossy, but to really get that aurora shimmer to pop, I would say a nice glossy top coat. Formula overall has a very medium to somewhat heavy feel during application. It stays where you put it, and it's super smooth and buttery. Now during stamping I had no issues whatsoever. I am using a Pween plate for this one and a ultra squishy stamper from Lantern and Wren. I'm sure you guys I feel like I'm a repeating broken robot. I keep repeating about that stamper, but highly recommend. I had no issues whatsoever picking up the image off of the plate. And I do feel like when you stamp it over black, it is just a little bit more on the subtle side, but you'll get like a super shimmery, like it's like the aurora pigment really pops over very dark colors. So it's subtle, but you get more of the shimmer on dark, and then on light colors, you'll really see that teal come out to play. Next up is Night Owl Lacquer. This is Asteria, which is inspired by the goddess of the stars. Official description is a black holographic with 4 different shades of shifting galaxy shimmers, silver flakes, silver hollow galaxy glitters, and 4 different shades of color shifting crystal chameleon flakies. Price on this one is $12, and there is no cap on this. So this is quite the deceiving little minx. On the first coat, it does come off quite light, but on that second coat, everything just pops. So per usual, I gave it a good shake and then went to apply. I had no issues whatsoever picking up just all of those flakies and all of those ultra sparkly things. Like if you are a super hollow polish lover, this one is for you. So while the base is black, all of those holographic pigments and whatnot, it does kind of make it look almost like a very dark gray. Very blingy, very, very sparkly in person. And after top coating, I had no texture whatsoever. So next we have Pretty Jelly. This is Orpheus and Eurydice. Official description is a dusty rose to blue to black trithermal with fine copper shimmer, pink to green aurora shimmer, hollow flakies, and pink to green UCC flakies, and green to purple UCC flakies. So the price is at $12.50, and there is no cap on this one. Formula has a nice medium feel. It spreads very evenly over the nail, and it applies very, very opaque. It does dry down quite a bit on the matte side, so once again, glossy gal over here. I would recommend a nice glossy top coat to really get everything to pop. So in normal state, like here, my fingers are a little bit on the colder side, and this to me is like one of the transition states in my opinion. It's kind of like a gunmetal gray almost, and when it warms up, it goes to a really nice dusty rose color, and in like a mid transition state, you'll see almost like a navy blue, and then when it's really cold, it'll be black. I did feel like on one of my full hand shots, you could see the 3 colors come out to play. This one is very, very responsive to temperature changes. After top coating, there is no texture on this one, and there is a really, really lovely glow with the Aurora shimmers in this one. So it's kind of like on the cold and the warm or the medium state, you'll see a really nice rainbow of colors against all that dark base. But even on the warm state, they kind of just complement it, if that makes sense. Next up is Supernatural Lacquer. This is The Man, the Myth, the Moth, inspired by Mothman. Official description is a muddied teal gray crelly with red to green to gold aurora and duochrome multichrome shimmer blend with red to gold UCC flakies. The price is at $12, and there is no cap on this one. Now, the formula on this one is on the lighter side, but I do feel like the buildup is so worth it because it is loaded with shifty pigments and shifty shimmers in there that it gives you a really nice pond effect. I had no issues whatsoever picking up the flakes, and they laid down nice and flat for me. I would just personally describe the base as like a dusty, it's like right in between a teal and a gray. It's definitely one you want to see in person, and the shimmer is super, super strong. In person, you'll mostly see it in red, and then on extreme angles, it'll pop out with green and gold. This one does dry down just kind of semi-matte a little bit, so of course, I'm going to recommend a real nice glossy top coat to make the shimmers and the flakes and all that good stuff really pop. I had no texture after top coat. Depending on your application style and whatnot, I'm going to go out and say that this one is fully opaque, and most will do between 2 and 3 coats. I personally would recommend 3 coats, and you'll get that nice lovely pond effect with that super strong shimmer and all of those really shifty flakes. Now, polish pickup is opening on Friday, January the 4th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time until January 7th at midnight Eastern Time. I will link you guys below to the shop so you can get those wish lists loaded. I have heard that wish list making is now open to browse on the site. I'll also link below my blog post as well so you guys can see more photos and written review if you'd like. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.